This is my modern deck. It's a blue-red control deck, and I'm trying some changes to make the Jund matchup better. One of the problems I had against Jund was that I had an Elspeth Knight Errant in this slot, and Elspeth is poorly positioned against Chandra Pyromaster. Chandra kills the Elspeth token, and it doesn't let Elspeth gain any loyalty. So I wanted a card that was not that bad against Chandra. So I have a Johnny, but a Johnny is not new. He's pretty old tech, but he gains some life, which is important, and he's like the cheap card that can punish people for bad starts. The reason why I need more life gain, because I'm trying out is Proffery Nodes. I wanted to try Proffery Nodes as it's a 1-mana spell that can kill multiple creatures to provide some card advantage. But if they have multiple creatures out, and this card can only kill one creature per turn, you're going to be taking some damage from the other creatures, so you need more life gain to stabilize. The rest of the deck, or the main deck, is pretty standard. It has 26 lands, 3 tech edge, 5 basics, 3 fetches, or 3 of each of the red fetches, the various shocks and check lands, and of course 4 colonnades. I'm only playing 3 bolts because I'm playing a Proffery Nodes. Cut a bolt for a Proffery Node. I have 3 Spell Snare. I really like Spell Snare because there are a lot of problem 2 casting cost cards in the format. Most notably Voice of Resurgence, Dark Confidant, Scavenging Ooze, and even Spellskite. This deck has a problem with 4 toughness creatures, because it has a lot of 3 damage based burn spells, and Spellskite kind of stops that from happening. But I do have a couple cards that can kill 4 toughness creatures and Path to Exile. I'm only playing 2. It's not very good, but you kind of need it for the big creatures and Worm Coil or Tarmogoyf or Loxodon Smite or even Restoration Angel. And it's also good against Splinter Twin. But but the reason why it's bad is because there are a lot of multicolor decks in the format, and when you path them, you ramp them and fix their mana. And it's also pretty bad against Dark Confidant, because you have to path Dark Confidant on your turn, or else they get the draw trigger, and then when you path them on your turn, you give them access to that mana right away. One of the rafts I'm playing main deck is Pyroclasm. It's pretty good against Pod and Affinity, and it's okay against Jund because sometimes they have draws where they have to play Deathrite into Scavenging Ooze, or Deathrite into Dark Confidant, or even double Deathrite. I have 2 Lightning Helix. This card's pretty good in the format. It's one of the reasons why Blue-Red is a better color combination than Grixis, because you have a really good life gain spell you can main deck. If people are trying to burn you out with Lightning Bolts, and you Helix one of their creatures, you just got a 2 for 1. I have 3 Mana Leaks, 1 Shadowed out as like Miser's copy against Pod and Tron, and maybe I get a fetch land in the mirror. 3 Think Twice. I really like Think Twice. It helps smooth out your draws and gives you some card advantage late game, and it's not bad versus like Liliana. I have 3 Snapcasters. They can get clunky and multiple, so that's why there's 3. I have 3 Electrolyze, 4 Cryptic Command, 1 Hollow Burial is my other main deck Wrath. I think it's pretty good right now. There's not that many decks that want to counterspell your Wrath, so Supreme Verdict is not needed as much, and you want to kill Voice of Resurgence, Persist creatures, and even Affinity starting to play the Welding Jar, so this gets around that, despite it costs 1 more mana, and it can still kill a Thrun that people will bring in against you. I have 1 Gideon Jura as another 1 condition, and it's okay against Chandra Pyromaster, doesn't get completely hosed, and 2 Revelations. The sideboard is where it gets spicy. As you can see, I have 4 Loxodon Smiters. The Smiter is for the Jund matchup. This is not my idea. I saw somebody have this in their sideboard and their deck got posted in the daily event results. So I'm trying it out, but I don't believe they had a land to cast the Smiters. So they're just relying on opponent having Lilianas in play. So I added the Stomping Grounds. I think I cut my Tech Edge to play this, but the reason why it's a Stomping Ground is because all my fetches are red based, and Stomping Ground is red, and I already have the white mana to cast it in my deck, so I just need the green mana, and so that's why it's a Stomping Ground. And you also want to cast it so you could bring this card in against the Mirror or other decks that play like counter spells, like the Delver deck. And also people will bring in land destruction against you, so it's kind of a pretty good idea to have more lands in the sideboard. The rest of the sideboard is pretty standard. It's a bunch of 1 and 2 ofs, for Snapcaster, and for the fact that Modern is in reverse format and you want a variety of spells to help those other matchups.